Welcome back to Chill Not Found. In this episode, Danker and Wheeze boot up the memory card of childhood to debate which consoles were iconic, which were overrated, and which ones felt like they were designed by people who had never held a controller before. So grab a snack, blow into that cartridge for good luck, and let's dive into the chaos.
Hello everybody, and welcome to Chill Not Found. I am your host, Danker, and I'm also here with Wheeze.
Hello, I'm Wheeze.
And today we have an exciting episode for you guys. So, before we get into that, how you doing, Wheeze?
I'm doing fantastic. I just remembered that breathing air is a function that I'm supposed to be doing. How about you, Danker?
Yes, breathing air is a function that we are required to do. It's not optional, unfortunately.
Boo.
I know, right? I wish it was optional. You know what I really wish was optional? Sleep. I wish I didn't have to sleep.
Right?
I wish that was just an option. Like, I don't have to sleep. I could choose to sleep, but I don't have to sleep, you know? That'd be so nice.
No, I feel you.
Because honestly, it's annoying.
If I could remove two functions and make them unnecessary, it would be breathing and sleeping. Because then I can just go underwater.
Yeah, honestly, the going underwater thing, that's cool and all, but I just think breathing.
Oh, in space.
You know, because pressure, and same with water. You get too much. If you go too far deep, you still got pressure on you.
Yeah, but I can get the sand dollars before there's sand dollars on the beach.
Yeah, fair enough. But you know, yeah, I would just wish that was kind of optional, but it's not, so we have to suffer. It is what it is. Anyways, so what else have you been up to?
Just got distracted by this young. I am excited.
Oh, what for?
Oh, it's a certain somebody's anniversary.
Oh, it's certain somebody's anniversary. Oh, yeah. Let me think. Is it the anniversary of McDonald's?
No.
Is it one of our viewers' anniversary?
No.
Beans. Is it an important anniversary?
Yes.
Oh, okay. It's 420. Yeah, that anniversary. Let's go, blaze it.
You know what I'm talking about, dear.
Oh, are you talking about our anniversary on when we met? That's cringe.
Yes.
just straight up dog on that. That's cringe. But no, it is our anniversary, and I'm happy that we have made it to another year with each other, and we've tolerated each other enough for another year. But you know,
tolerated.
well, I'm yeah. But overall,
You're saying you just tolerate me?
I tolerate you and I love you. What is love but toleration?
I tolerate and love you too.
Exactly. But
even if, hear me out, even if sometimes you fart really loud.
There is no audible proof on record.
There may not be any audible proof on record. No.
So therefore, it's just hearsay.
Bruh.
This
isn't court.
Take me to court. Try me.
No. That's expensive.
And I would win. I would basically have to. If you went to court against me, I would be paying for court against myself.
So who really wins?
Not me. But anyways, you guys could change that by going to Danker.store and buying some merch today. But overall, I'm excited.
Shameless plug.
Of course. So I'm excited.
Yeah?
I started a new chapter. And I have basically, I got a new job. And this job, one issue I have with a lot of companies, and I know this seems weird, but one issue I've always had with, working at some companies is they say, even if you don't have work to do, look busy, I hate that mentality. I have to have actual work. I cannot just look busy, because if I don't have work, what am I supposed to do? Just stand at my toolbox? By the way, I'm a heavy diesel mechanic, so there's no just looking busy. My bay's already swept, everything's already cleaned. It's annoying. But this new job, they have lots of work for me, which makes me really happy, because it keeps my mind, set on the job, and it makes the day go by faster, which is 10 times better, because working 10 to 11 hour shifts, a long time. But when you are constantly working and fixing stuff, it goes by pretty quick.
Yeah.
And that's one thing I have to be busy. I have to be working. And so I'm pretty excited that I have a new job. Maybe someday this YouTube thing will kick off and I can retire from mechanics. But until then, still have to
Until then, you got to hit hammers with a wrench, probably.
hit hammers with a wrench? No.
Engine.
No, I'm not.
Yeah.
No.
Hit the tire.
I do hit tires with hammers sometimes.
No, with a wrench.
No.
Big wrench.
No, that's no.
But it would be funny.
No.
Yes.
Anyways, with all that said, let's get into the main topic of today's episode. Today, we are talking about the original consoles. The consoles that really started our generation, at least. And we're part of late millennial, like early Gen Z. I know, Gen Z's ill. But
well,
we got like right off on the edge of all that. So I grew up with the GameCube. GameCube was my favorite console. And I also had an Xbox original, PlayStation 2, and a few different handheld Game Boys. And so that's the main topic. We're going to be talking about the old consoles, how they were, how they function, and some consoles you might not have even heard of. And we'll be getting into all of that. But
and the games.
And the games, of course. We have a lot of games to cover. But the one thing a lot of people don't realize, before the original Xbox release, there was a Xbox console, quote unquote. I'm putting that there because it wasn't really a console, but it was the DirectX box, right? Which was basically a PC tower, but it had the Xbox functions. And it was supposed to, battle against Sony's, entertainment with their PS2. But the DirectX box was just a PC tower trying to be a console.
Filled with green goop.
Yeah. And it was very interesting. And then they actually fixed it with the proper DirectX box, with the actual, what everybody knows, the box with the X on it with a green logo in the middle. Yes. And stuff like it, which was very nice and very fancy looking.
That thing was heavy too.
It was heavy, but the thing I remember the most, right, is I liked the controller on it, but a lot of people didn't like it because how it was filled. But I have always had big hands all my life, so I always liked it, but it was not everybody's favorite controller.
Everyone in my family loved it because we all have slightly large hands. Even as small as I was, my fingers fit on that properly. Yes, excellent. The only thing that couldn't really work properly was my thumbs with the buttons.
Yeah,
they were a little short. Those have always been the shortest fingers.
Yeah,
on my hands, my thumbs.
And the like next to the Y and B button were the white and black buttons up there. Yes. And so like you had those buttons which did some functions in some games. I don't remember exactly what they did, but they did functions in some games like the original Doom and stuff like that.
Yeah, for the Sims 2 Sims 2 on the original Xbox, the nice one that we all played at home, the console. I do believe, if I remember correctly, it switched your perspective and cursor.
That's interesting. But yeah. So But I always thought it was just a very interesting because right before that they were doing like a closed beta of like an actual PC tower, and they're just like put that PC tower sideways and throw some plastic on it, and boom bam. Now the only thing I did not like about the original Xbox was the cable ports. They were bulky and they came in different pieces because you got the main cable port, then you got another cable port that also
Yeah.
split off. And if you lost that piece, you have to go buy a new one. And sometimes it's cheaper to buy a whole new controller than that cable part.
Right. I did like the little I liked mismatching like new stuff like that.
I'm sorry, you kind of, what do you say?
I liked mismatching the little, what do you want to call them, thingies, the port to port thingy
Oh, the
for the
different.
controllers.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
I liked mismatching them when they came out with different colors.
yeah. And then my favorite part is when they eventually came out with the Bluetooth controller, and then they had that big brick on the front where it goes into the port, so it looks like an antenna kind of in the front. That was interesting.
I didn't see that one. We didn't get that one at my home.
I didn't get it at my home, but my friend had it. My rich friend.
No, I didn't have a rich friend.
Yeah, yeah. I had a rich friend, and he always had all the newest stuff, so I always went to his house.
You're like, hey, what kind of snacks you got?
Yeah, basically. No, I seriously, I would go to his house and just raid his fridge. I'm just like, snack. But yeah, so the 1999 DirectX, um, and then everything got pushed out, and it was pretty cool. I like how like hacky look the menu was. It was all like green themed and everything, and
Yeah.
it just super futuristic, and it really popped up, and it just looked really cool.
I love that you could download music on it.
Oh yeah, you can download lots of music. And plus if you know don't do it, well, I guess you can do it. They're not really supported anymore. If you put a modification on it, you were able to extend how much memory it had,
Yeah.
which was really cool.
I don't know if we did that to ours, because I know we had two of them.
Yeah,
I know, so fancy, too. But I
mine
think
both.
we got them from garage sale.
Yeah.
But
Um.
the one that we got that had all the music on it, I'm pretty sure it had a mild modification to it. Because it had all like the music on it. And they had a taste for heavy metal.
Yeah. Fair enough. Now, my personal favorite console that I will still stand by to this day, and you can find me on, was the GameCube. I hands down the original GameCube controller is the most comfortable in your hand. Hands down.
Absolutely 100%.
It's like the best, or like fit, grip, everything. Everything was placed exactly where it needed to be. Like that should have been the status quo of every controller from moving forward.
Absolutely.
And because that was probably the best. And plus, you had Super Smash Bros. You had Wind Waker, and you had a whole bunch of games on there, which I just
Uh, they also had oh, what's it called? Twilight Princess.
yeah, they had Twilight Princess on there. And plus, you when you think of going to like a friend's house and stuff like that, it had a handle on the back, so it was you could carry it if you so wish. And like now, the downside is the memory cards, they corrupt,
A
and
lot.
a lot, and the you can't put any other type of disc in there, and it only read those small disc.
Oh, and if the belt went out on those,
Oh yeah.
they were done. You couldn't do anything about that. Now, if the laser went out, you could kind of like shake it around a little and it would start working again.
I took a toothbrush to my laser and it worked again. So
Yeah,
toothpaste and the
but
toothbrush. I don't know if that actually helped or damaged it further,
I
but
have no idea.
it worked.
I probably added a new film over it, which is probably it actually burnt out was the film.
Uh, mm.
But no, we had two again from garage sales.
Hey, you gotta get it where you can get it.
Yeah. So we had ours from garage sales. We had a silver one and of course the classic bluish purple one. But they were both belonging to my brothers, and when my oldest brother moved out, he gave me a silver GameCube.
Yeah.
And I got to go get a game from a secondhand game store.
Yeah. Lean a little bit closer to your mic. You keep on cutting it out.
I don't know what's wrong with it.
You probably have to buy you a new mic. That's copyrighted.
Technical difficulties. Yeah, that's why you can just cut it out. But I got to have my oldest brother's silver GameCube. And, I had the controller with it, and he gave me a memory card and everything. And I got to go to a secondhand game store and choose a game. And I chose my personal favorite, Harvest Moon Magical Melody. The characters were eye-catching because I was small, and it was just a game about farming.
Yeah.
And that game was one of the games that helped our newer games like Stardew Valley.
Nice.
Good game.
Yep.
Good
game.
soup.
Now, the game I played the most on the GameCube was
Wind Waker.
Wind Waker, hands down. I've played Wind Waker nonstop. It was just, I beat it and I'll play it again. And I beat it again, I'll play it again. Like, I've done every single thing you could think on, you could do on Wind Waker, because, like, I was curious what would happen if I went to every single corner of the map. So I would just go up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down. I spent 5 days just going up and down on the Wind Waker map, hitting every single island, doing every single thing I could do on every single island. If there was a hole there, I jumped in the hole. Challenge accepted. Didn't matter what it was. If I was even prepared, I just went for it. There is not a single secret on that game I have not found. Even on the HD version, I still played it, found all the secrets, did everything, and just all-time favorite game, mainly for nostalgia, but honestly, for me personally, it's just one of my favorite games. And so, but the GameCube, 10 out of 10. I'm like, I just wish they released like a GameCube HD version.
I want them to make another one.
Yeah, if they make a GameCube HD, that would be awesome. I know
that would sell like hotcakes.
I know there's quote unquote ones, like the modded ones, but man, if they just made it an actual GameCube HD, that would change so much.
It would change everything.
Yeah.
There would be world peace.
Probably not. Probably not. But
okay, I can dream.
Yeah. But it's just one of those things that it was definitely one of the top, things, consoles that I enjoyed when I was a child. And, for all the people that had a GameCube, let us know your experience with whatever console you enjoyed when you were younger.
Of course, your favorite games.
Oh, yeah, of course. Your favorite games and stuff like that. Let us know in the comments down below. But now, for everybody's been waiting for this one, the PlayStation 2. That game had a lot of them, like GTA, San Andreas, other games like God of War, the Shadow, and it was also the only console at the time that played back DVDs, what made it such a popular console.
It wasn't the only one that played back DVDs.
And so the original Xbox did not play back DVDs. The Xbox 360 did, but the original Xbox...
No, the original Xbox could play DVDs.
It wasn't they only play the ones that had the black film on the back of it?
Yes, it could only play the ones with the black film on the back. And the PlayStation, while it could play any kind of that it had the best functionality with, was the ones that actually had the blue back. Trust me, I tested.
Yeah. But like they still had it was one of those things that a lot of people seek the PlayStation 2 out, not only for a gaming console, just because it could play the majority of DVDs with no remote, individual remote you have to get. You could use a controller, and it was just one of those things that it was just very, very nice and useful for them. But
It made it more family friendly.
yeah, basically. And for me, the only thing I absolutely hate, and I mean hated with a burning passion, is the intro, the piano going.
Oh,
I hated it because I would try to play at like 2 in the morning and stuff like that on my box screen TV, and I would like unplug certain audio wires and just to start up the PlayStation because I made the mistake of not unplugging the audio wires and it went. It's like my parents came out and they're like, "What are you doing up?" I was like, just
you're like, I just wanted to play.
yeah, I just want to play. My brothers won't let me play in the daytime, so this is the only time I get to play. And always family drama and stuff like that, and just like never.
I love the floating cubes though.
Oh yeah, they were neat to look at. But there was this
Yes.
one game on there that I'm still trying to figure out what it's called. I've done 100 different searches on Google. I can't not remember the game, but it was some type of like in space racing game. Had some really cool music, and I just cannot find. It's not a racing. It's like a racing slash spaceship shooter, and it was so cool when I was younger. I played that one so much, and I just cannot recall the name of it or any other functionalities besides that. The only thing I remember is there was one map on there where you went off the edge and down a waterfall, and then the map completed. But besides that, I cannot remember what it's called. But it was such a good game when I was younger.
If y'all know the name, just ignore the voice crack and drop it below.
Hey, if you guys know what it's called, if you guys can help me on this search, I'll give you free merch. Any free merch in my store, I will give it to you. Don't think I won't. I will do it.
He's a man of his word.
But yeah. So, but it was a good console. It wasn't my favorite console. Mainly, I had a grudge against it because I had the PlayStation, not the PlayStation. I had the Xbox 360, right? And my other brother preferred the PlayStation over the Xbox, and so since he preferred that console, I was like, well, I prefer the Xbox, so I always stuck with the Xbox.
It's general sibling rivalry.
And then the console wars. I didn't even know about the whole console wars in like the public's eye. I only knew about the console war in my house because like I always said Xbox was better. He was always saying PlayStation was better, and it was just always back and forth with us. And it was just one of those things that Xbox and PlayStation will always, be either the top or,
Yeah, but hear me out. Nintendo 64.
And now that's I didn't really get to play like Nintendo 64s and stuff like that until I was adult with adult money.
It has stuff like Mario Party. Mario Party was my favorite PS2 game. Actually, a game series. Dot Hack.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it was technically one big game, but it was 4 different discs. And yes, you could play each disc individually, but you could also use your save file from the previous games.
Yeah, because they had the PlayStation 2, if I recall, had the same memory style as the GameCube. Had that little card reader, and you put it in there, and then you have that. But that also had a lot of corruption as well.
Oh, absolutely.
And also, it was so easy to delete save files on there.
Yes, no, my sister, bless her heart, she beat the first game, and she went to save, and she accidentally saved over our father's save file.
Oof.
And he had beaten 3 of the games and was almost done with the 4th.
Oh.
And he has never touched it since.
That's unfortunate.
It really is.
But yeah, no. It's just one of those things that that console had that issue because I accidentally saved over my brother's save file, and he has a lovely brother. He took it in with a good smile on his face and a fist, and it met my face. But a good smile on his face. But
yeah, the wonders of being the youngest and accidentally save file.
Yeah, I'm like, I didn't mean to. I just didn't know. I'm like, at that time, I couldn't even read at that time, so I was just like,
exactly. It's like, what does this do? Exactly. That looks different now. Fascinating.
Yeah, basically. But no, just overall, the PlayStation had its ups and downs. The Xbox had its ups and downs. The GameCube had its ups. The GameCube had its downs.
No, the GameCube was supreme.
But in my eyes, technically in your eyes, with combined eyes, we have 3.
Combined, we are a Triclops.
I'm pretty sure it's, I don't know.
Yeah, Triclops.
Sure. We'll go with that. If it doesn't exist, we'll make it. But with our combined eyes, it was the number 1 console because the controller felt great. Never had any issues.
Memory, games.
The games.
Nostalgia.
The nostalgia. Everything on there. Fantastic. Now we're not going to get into every single console. We're going to get into the main consoles of, our young generation. I know there's so many more consoles we could get into, but there is also
handhelds.
There's handhelds. Like I had a 3DS, loved it, lost it.
I had a DSi, loved it, played a lot of that Brain game on it.
Yeah.
Put it inside of this old purple lunchbox because that's what I was using as my game storage case.
Mm-hmm.
And then it went missing.
Oof.
Never found it again. Pretty sure it got tossed.
Plus, I had a Game Boy. I think it was a Game Boy Advance, and also I had.
You probably had a Game Boy Color.
Maybe, I don't know. It was the one that folded over.
That was a color.
Okay, yeah, then I had a color. And then I played a lot of Pokemon on there.
Mm-hmm.
That was the vibe back then.
Yeah, I got to play the Game Boy Advance and the Game just a little because my siblings had them. But my brother hated letting me play Pokemon. It was like one of the few games that I could actually understand.
Yeah. I'm like, I lost my Game Boy at church because I was playing it at church, not there in sermon, but I was playing it when I was sitting out, and then some person came and said, "Hey, you cannot be playing that." He took it away and confiscated it, and never gave it back. So I call that stealing. That church doesn't make Game Boy. So, but yeah, it's unfortunate that I lost it, but unfortunately we'll never get it back. And I was so close to beating it too. I was so sad. There's a lot of games that we have gotten close to beating. There's a lot of games that we have really enjoyed, and there's a lot of games that unfortunately that we just won't have no more. Which it's unfortunate, but it is what it is. But overall, I think with all the consoles, GameCube on top, follow up with Xbox style, and then PlayStation use multi-use ability. Yes. So that's basically my ranking. Y'all can disagree as much as you want. Fight me in the comments. I will fight you down there. Try me. And basically with everything, I just feel like the main factor is like Halo on the Xbox was top tier game, because that shaped the face of almost all first person shooter games from after that. Like it changed everything. It went from Doom to how amazing Doom was, and Halo came out, and just the world changed. And my brother, he loved Halo. He played Halo Reach, Halo 3, 4. I'm pretty sure he played Ultimate. Like he loved Halo. Still probably does, but
most likely.
But the thing is, just there is so many things. Halo has its up and downs. I didn't care for Halo 4. I will say that now. You guys could put your opinions on that, but Halo 4, I felt like it kind of let a lot of the main story just kind of felt empty, and the choices and everything and how everything really went. Not really happy with how it turned out. But
which is entirely valid.
With that said, do you have anything you would like to add?
There is one thing that, like, so the Sims franchise had games on all 3 of those consoles.
Yeah.
And one thing I really liked about them having those games on those consoles, it was really nice because it actually let you move the character around instead of just being some sort of surveyor. I wish they would bring that back.
Yeah, fair enough.
That is all.
So, just a simple call out to Sims.
Yeah, get called out. Do better.
According to my wife, do better. But
because they can. They really can.
Oh, of course. I've never really cared for Sims personally. It just seems like a game I would get bored very quickly.
I mean, it wasn't my favorite game, but I did enjoy. Not only could you play it as the actual character, it was multiplayer.
Yeah.
So you could play it with other people. And it's funny because my character, every single time I play with my sister, I like this guy at this first lot where we have to fix the stuff before moving to the next lot. And I'm like, oh yeah? Mine now. And she's like, fine, I'll go for the girl. Like, it's a video game. I'll do what I must. And then I'd wait until she like had to go to like the restroom or something like that, and I'd like disconnect her controller and then lock her character in a box. Oh.
Of course, the youngest sibling, right?
Of course, absolutely.
You know.
And of course, the Sims being the Sims, that's just something that's par for the course.
Of course. Well, with that said, that's our generation of consoles. Of course, you know, there's the Xbox, there's the Wii, there's the Wii U, there's, you know, all PlayStation 4, PlayStation 3, PlayStation 5. You know, there's so many more consoles we could get into, but you know, we'll probably reinvent to this topic in a future video.
Absolutely. Because there's always going to be 1,000,001 things that we can talk about.
Yeah. I'm like, unless you guys have 8 hours to sit and listen, but no, I'm pretty sure like 200% of you already tuned out. So
200%.
Hey, according to the analytics, they listen up to 8 minutes, and we're past that.
Wow. Stay longer.
So if you have made it to this point, type in the comments 101, and if you type in the comments, you are Giga Chad.
Giga Chad.
But with that,
play the John Cena music.
Copyrighted. I wish I could play music like this without fear, but like everybody's like, oh, somebody hungry, and I'm just like, oh.
I don't know. Play just.
I'm not playing nothing.
Just play C#.
No.
Just once.
No.
Why?
Here's your C#. There you go.
Good enough. That's the celebration music. You just can't hear it because your ears aren't fine-tuned for it.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I think it's story time.
Story time!
So, this week is my story, and, well, I have a very, very sad, emotional, life-changing story. One that will affect you for the rest of your life. Probably not. So, this is a story of when me and my brothers, of course, my brothers, thought of a cool idea to build a wooden ramp. But not only build a wooden ramp, but to set it on fire. And the repercussions after that, you know, you guys can kind of put it together. But when I was a young lad, my father had a lot of tools just lying around, a lot of wood that's just lying around. And I was always the one that, if there involved any kind of situation, I was the main source of the injuries or led up to the injuries. So
the chaos.
Yeah, basically. So I had a brand new bicycle for Christmas. I was so excited. So did my brothers. They all had bicycles for Christmas, and I was like, yeah, let's go. And we had all mountain bikes. And so, we had different gears on them, different speeds.
Oh boy.
It was really, really cool. Right? And we were riding around. And I see my neighbor. They had a plastic ramp that they bought. And they're jumping off of it with their sport bike. And I was like, it's this little trick bike. It had little pegs on it where you could ride and stuff like that.
A BMX bike.
Yeah, BMX bike. And I was like, my bike's better. I'll build a ramp myself. So I go into my father's garage where all of his tools are. And I go take a hammer, I go get some nails, I go get the handsaw. And I'm just like, all right, well, let me just go ahead and just get all this stuff out here. And I'm sawing away on this perfectly good wood that he probably bought for a project and cutting it all up and building a ramp. So I build this ramp, and the steep on the ramp is absolutely crazy because I wanted it to launch you. So I built
it's basically 90 degrees, let's be real.
Well, it's not 90 degrees, but it's probably like at least 70 degrees. But it was made to launch, right? And so I built a good build up so you can ride onto the ramp and then ride up to it and then launch off of it. And then landing, didn't care about that. Because that's over.
Think about the fun part, not the rest of it.
Exactly. And so I got this ramp constructed. Me with my millions of years of experience of not knowing how to do any of that. I basically built a ramp. I tested for sturdiness. There was no tutorials on how to build stuff like this. I just guessed angle,
of course,
would go up, a little bendy in the middle, more wood, obviously.
Of course.
And so I fixed all the issues we had with it. And that was stable. You could walk on it. It was secure. Millions of nails. Not all of them were straight. Not even all of them were in there all the way. But you know what? It was sturdy enough where I could jump on it. I was like, this is great. This is perfect. This is what we need. And so I get my bike and I ride down the hill. And I go onto this ramp and I go up it. And then I go off and I crash. I'm just like, okay, cool. It works. I wasn't focused on the fact that I crashed and got all scraped up. I was just excited that, my ramp works and it's cooler and it's taller than my neighbor's ramp. So
you're like, I am the best bicyclist.
Yeah. So I get my brothers and I was like, hey, come on. So two of my brothers come out and they're like, oh, cool ramp. And so I jump off of it. My other brother jumps off, wrecks. And my other brother jumps off at the same time, lands on him, and also wrecks.
Oh, no.
Great time. But I was just like, I got to be even cooler than our neighborhood kids, So there is, lighter fluid, to start the grill and everything.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, let's set the ramp on fire and jump off of it. That will be awesome. And so...
No.
I got my brothers. I was like, all right. So pour this lighter fluid all over it. This is a wooden ramp. So makes perfect sense. And we'll jump off of it. And so we set this in the grass, not on concrete, in the grass, because obviously we set it on fire. And I'm pedaling as hard as I can. I'm coming, I'm going. And it's, it's been on fire for about
a good bit now.
Yeah, a good bit. Maybe a minute or two, right? And all my brothers are like, yeah, and all the neighbor kids are like, yeah, and all the parents are like, no, but and I hit the ramp, and I go full force into the ramp, probably going at least 15 miles. Now that does not seem fast, but when you're pedaling on a bike and you're a child, that's fast.
That's fast, yeah.
That's fast. So going at least 15, and I hit the wood onto the ramp, and then my front wheel goes donk and splits the wood, and I launch into the ramp into the middle of the fire. No. And everybody goes from yeah to real quick. And I'm just like because to keep the fire going, my brother kept on spraying lighter fluid on it. And so it was just one of those things that, to keep it going, we just kept on spraying, and it kept it burning. Eventually the wood actually caught fire. And that's when it caused the damage. And so my brand new bike that I got for Christmas got absolutely burnt, destroyed. I
just a little crispy.
Got a little bit burnt. I didn't get too burnt, but I was just more scraped up because, again, the nails were on the wind.
Yeah.
I did not do anything properly, and definitely wasn't a good idea to set the ramp on fire.
No.
And so, trying to be the cool one in the neighborhood, I ended up being the fool one in the neighborhood. And
so crispy.
Yeah. And so my brothers managed to put out the fire with water. My father was furious, and he had a very few choice words for me, and I went without a bike for 2 more years, and then eventually he got me a new one. But it was just one of those things that when you have an idea and you think it's going to be cool, just double check with somebody that's older than you. Because all of us young one, like neighborhood kids and everything, we were all on board, but
everyone was like, yeah, burning ramp is perfect.
But the problem is, and this is what I find hilarious, my neighborhood parents were outside and they said one thing: that's probably not a good idea, and nothing else. They didn't even stop me.
They said, yeah, probably shouldn't. And they're like, it's the boys.
Yeah.
They're going to do it anyways.
Yeah, so it was absolutely catastrophic fail. And, the problem is I didn't even learn from that lesson. I built several ramps after that and set them on fire. And you think I would learn, but apparently not. But
it led to you headbutting a tree at least.
Yeah. I've headbutt trees. I've done ramps off of piers into the lake, lost bikes way. I've done everything you could probably imagine, and just basically ruined different things.
I'm surprised your parents bought you a bike more than once.
They stopped after a while.
They said, maybe we should stop getting him bikes.
They stopped getting me a bike, and instead they got me an electric go-kart.
Oh.
Yeah. And that's a story for a different time.
Yeah.
But
entirely different story.
With that said, that's the moral of that story is think before you act. If you think it's going to be dangerous, it probably is. Still check with a parent.
Check with a parent or trusted adult. And remember, kids. Ooga booga.
Remember, kids. Ooga booga. Fair enough.
My brain stopped working.
Yeah, it's fair. But, with all that, it was fun. We had a good time. But, yeah. So, I made my mistakes. I paid the price. And then I lived to tell the tale. But, with that said, well, Louise, do you have anything you would like to add or any comments on that? Or, anything really?
My amazing, handsome husband. It is a miracle that you made it to.
It's a miracle that your mind keeps on cutting out. You want to try that again?
I know. It's right here. I said, my dearest, amazing, handsome husband. It is a miracle that you made it to adulthood.
Oh, trust me. It was a family celebration that I turned 18 years old and I wasn't dead.
They said, woohoo, yippee.
Literally on my birthday cake when I was 18, it literally said, congratulations, you didn't die.
It's a good job not dying.
I was like, oh, thanks. But, hopefully.
I had an 18th birthday cake.
Yeah, well, my 18th birthday was the only birthday we actually really celebrated with actual people. But, that's
actual people.
Yeah.
As opposed to furniture.
Well, it's a story for a different time. I don't want to go into too much childhood drama because
right,
that gets boring after a while. But I got funnier stories.
And concerning.
Yeah. You guys think this is a podcast. Truly, it's my therapy.
Right?
But with that said, thank you guys so much for listening. I hope you guys did enjoy this podcast. If you guys did, make sure you guys leave a comment. Let us know what's your funniest moments, or cringiest moments, and give me suggestions to buy a new mic for Wheeze, because obviously she needs a new one. Which is sad
it's
because
relatively fine.
That mic is not even old, and
it's not even a year old.
I'm going to call out the makers of that mic, HyperX. You guys made a horrible mic.
Do better.
Do better. Anyways, with that said, thank you guys so much, and we'll see you guys next time. Peace out.
Bye bye.